Hi, folks. It is Wednesday, April 1st. I don't know if any of you have had any fun with an April Fool's joke. What a day for me to have a closing on my house. I hope it's not any joke on me. I hope it's real. Sorry about the phone. I forgot to mute it. Turning it off now. There we go. So the buyers came through for their walkthrough, and we had a little bit of pleasant conversation. They were asking some questions about the yard and some few things. I let them know, and they were supposed to sign papers 2 hours ago. And I'm still waiting to find out if that actually happened, to know whether this is a done deal or not. And then I've got 7 days to get out of here. So moving truck comes Friday, and who knows how fast I'll be out of here after that. Still trying to figure out where I'm going. I mean, we know the town, but I guess I got to get there and then figure it out. It would be nice to be able to see family, but I need to make some phone calls in the morning or yeah, it'll be too late by the time we're done here. I need to call Department of Transportation for a bunch of states to see if I can get through, just to verify that I can. So anyhow, this is a real walk by faith. So please use my example as somebody who can be going through stress and still have a smile on her face. And you hang in there, because God is, remembered, the scripture says judgment starts with the house of God. So we have got to learn how to trust him through everything. That scripture verse Elly quoted yesterday, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding, but in everything, acknowledge him, and he'll direct your paths. And, you know, this what we are going through as a country, what we are going through as a world, has never happened before. So we're all in uncharted territory. We know that so much of what is going on is they create the chaos, they create the problem, and then they supposedly have a solution, which they knew they were going to present in the very beginning, which does nothing more than give them more control. And we've been marching toward this for decades, and if not centuries. You know, the disciples thought Jesus was coming back in a few years. So ever since Jesus ascended back into heaven, the Christians have been saying, hey, he's coming back soon. He's coming back soon. So we've been in a perpetual state of readiness. And forgive me, I just have a wet nose. Perpetual state of readiness is important. And you know, even Jesus said that he didn't know the day or the hour when he would return. I have heard people say, somebody said that the reason that was said was because the Jewish congregation, or the Jews, the tribes were scattered and across many time zones, and so not knowing the hour. So whenever they celebrated various holidays, their holy days, they would celebrate them for 2 days because of possible time changes and time differences. And so somebody suggested that that would be the way it would work. Jesus was born. Well, he died Hey, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I can't believe this. I don't know. StreamYard went down. Hey, and they're. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about it. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Okay. Elly says she's in. Hang on. All right. I am back. I don't know what happened. StreamYard went down, and I tried and tried and tried to get in, and it wasn't going to let me do anything. So I don't know if anybody's even still here, but I hope you are. Elly tried to get in when I was shut down. I don't know why I got shut off. I tried and I've been trying for 15 minutes. I just got 2 minutes into the show and I got knocked offline. And I tried to come in and give you a message and nothing was happening. Anyhow, so I'm back. So we'll see how soon Elly can get in. So I'll tell her to try again right now. Yeah, good old typo. Didn't, let's see, did it, let's see, 20, yeah, so it's still the same guest link. So she's got it. Who knows what happened? I got kicked off, but there is a message on StreamYard saying, because so many people are home right now. I mean, I'm hearing this on the news, that the number of people making phone calls, the number of people on the internet has skyrocketed with everybody being stuck at home. And so they're finding that there isn't enough bandwidth for what's been going on. So, to have been kicked off, I guess isn't any surprise. I tried to get in and message StreamYard and let them know what happened, but thanks, James. I don't know what happened. Anyhow, I was going to ask you guys if you mind doing a short show or just letting Elly take over. We'll see if she can come back in. You know what I could do is try calling her and make sure she knows that we're back. And so just give me a second as I look down, and I had her on speed dial and I don't anymore because I've had a lot to deal with the house. So I'm still waiting to find out if the buyers got all their paperwork. There's Elly. Yeah. Hey there.
Are you pushing wrong F button?
No. I got knocked
You know
off.
what that is, don't you?
No.
It's all the keys at the top, F1 and 2, and
the function buttons.
My granddaughter grabbed my keyboard one time and did the F buttons, and she did everything on the computer, programming everything. She took it out. So
you're breaking your voice. The visual's fine, but you're breaking up verbal auditory. The microphone. Anyhow, everything's being. Do we need a backup channel? I think the problem is that there are so many people on YouTube. I have 0 strikes. I went and even checked. Did they throw me off? And no, YouTube had not thrown me off. StreamYard did. So what's happening is so many people are trying to use StreamYard right now. They have a big warning sign as soon as you click into StreamYard saying we have so many people now trying to use it that expect technical difficulties. So and they've even, Free Conference Call has even asked me to change my time and not start calls at the top of the hour because so many people are trying to do conference calls with them now that everybody's going at the top of the hour. They say, please wait. So I come in a few minutes early, which, helps to make it happen. So, we're just in a international, global state of flux. I heard some interesting things today with what little time I've had to talk about, listen to things. Somebody was saying, here's Europe, European Union, borderless. Anybody can come and go as they want. I'm not sure, MW, what you're saying about Zoom. Anyhow, the European countries, wanted open borders, and all of a sudden Germany's closed their border, France wants to close their border, everybody's going to nationalism again. So what does that mean for the New World Order? I don't know. And
I might have an answer.
Well, give me a sec. I've heard more people talking about President Trump and his walk with God and what that's going to do, and with the hope being that we can come out of this. But of course, the other question I have is when we're getting, the quantitative easing from 2008, we never recovered from. So anyhow, please say, Elly, what the information you found out about Europe and their closed borders.
Well, not really the closed borders, it's the nationalism.
Well, that includes having borders.
Yeah, well, that too. Well, they've always had it. They just, till recently, wanted to start putting borders up over the last few years since Trump went in office. And I hope I'm not, echoing on you. Let me get back a little bit. What it was is that first G20 summit they had, they were all frowning at Trump and they really didn't want to get to know him. But over the last few years, with all the different summits that all of the nations get together, he's been talking with them. And one of them is, I'm going to say the UK, when he talked to the Queen. And they're now realizing that the socialism that was under the Obama administration that they claimed was so great, it's now crumbling their countries. Not only that, the influx of the illegals, it's just horrendous. Greece was to the point where they were ready to go to war because they didn't want no more, and they were just forcing them to take it because they just nowhere else for them to go, and they're still pouring in. So they really wanted borders, but they only would come up with Trump.
Oops, you're breaking up again.
But so the second G20 they went to, they were talking to him, and they were warm. And then they decided they were going to do dinners with him, and he got a chance to talk to him privately. So that was now this last year, not this one, but the one last year, they were all chummy and buddies, and everybody was starting to want to know the Trump plan. And so he did the online, over the phone one, because he couldn't, because of the virus, they couldn't get together, so they did this conference. And what was beautiful about it is they all asked Trump, what do you need?
Is that the G20?
He did it on the phone here about a week ago.
Right.
And the big thing that was asked was all the different countries asked, what do you need? And what led to it, what led out of it, that conference call, was he got a hold, or I must say Putin got a hold of Trump, and he is now sending a plane full, maybe two, full of medical supplies and everything that we're needing and lacking. And so Trump has talked to Putin personally, and I hear twice now this week. And Nancy Pelosi's going to go through the roof at that one. So you're cold.
Yeah, it's only 56 in here, and I started the fire at 8:30 this morning, and it's got a fan. If it gets hot enough, but it's not getting hot enough, and I think the wood is, even though I had it covered, it is wet. And so, but it's not even smoldering. I'm just not getting anything. Oh, I've got to take this call. I'm going to put myself.
Okay, I'll just keep going. I know everybody's still asking for my phone number. So I'll give my phone number, and then my YouTube is Investigator News, and it has a fire fist. And I do have a Facebook page that I list all my news, and I used to have the live shows there, but I do my live shows in the mornings now. I am too, Julie. So proud of my pillow guy. Yep, I'm very proud of what he's done. And there's another little story I'll tell you about Play-Doh guy, or a silly putty guy. My phone number is 501 269 3565. And the best time to call me is after 5 Eastern time. That way I'm pretty much done. Pretty much done with all me working. I work most of the day, so.
Forgive me, I've got some, there was a snafu with my paperwork this morning. I've got to sign something by e-sign. So I'm gonna mute and go dark. And so you just carry on until I get that done and I'll be back.
Okay.
What a
sure
day.
will.
Sorry about that, folks. Closing has to do what it has to do. So I got to
That's right. Okay. My phone number is 501 269 3565. I don't have the ability to type in chat, so I have to give it to you verbally. I know James was asking for it. Now the silly putty, I see a rise in small businesses that have the supplies to be able to help the country. And the one that came forward this week was a guy that does silly putty, and his name was Crazy Aaron. And it's called Crazy Aaron's Silly Putty. And I think he's small and not very well known. But since everything was going under and he couldn't really make anything else, he started looking at supplies. And he realized he had all the ingredients to make hand sanitizer. So instead of silly putty, he's now making hand sanitizer for the country. Yeah. And the other thing, I was hoping I wouldn't hear was I have sources all over the world. And one of my big ones for the UK got a hold of me this morning, and she's got the virus. So she said she would still do as much as she could for me, and she wasn't sure if she was going to go in the hospital. So, wow, it's horrible when you find someone has it. And I hope none of you have to go through it. So, the other thing was they're starting to realize in Louisiana, they have 28 college students now that came back from spring break with the virus. And they're thinking that number's going to rise. And they're now, I've been saying it for a few days on my show, that the cause of the big boom we see right now in the country is the cruise ships and the spring breakers and the homeless. Well, the homeless boom that they had in the virus pretty much ended over the weekend, and it started to slow down. But we are seeing the rise of what is coming off the cruise ships. If everybody remembers, when they pulled them into New Jersey, they let them all out there, and for the international flights out of New York. So I think this is what caused it. And it's almost provable with Fossey and a few of the scientists and biologists that one person can actually infect over 100 people. So there you go, James. Finally got it, huh? I've seen you've been asking for it, but it's always at the end of the show I notice it. So I figure I'm just going to get in here and get it to you today. Yeah, that and I think the warm sun, but we'll see. The thing is, I really believe that we need to address Trump and maybe call some of the senators and congressmen and urge them to find a universal kind of vaccine for these flus, because how they test it is they put the virus into like an egg, and that's the beginning stages of it. And what it does with the egg and how they test it tells them the virus and how it's pretty much affecting everybody. And if they can come up with the vaccine for this, we still have the flu, and they're calling it Y, I believe it's YN1 flu virus, and that's the one that got me and Larry. I did have the same flu Larry did, and I was down for 2 weeks or more. My grandkids, they were down sick over a little over a week. And of course, I went and seen Larry's wife, and she told me it was almost 2 weeks for her too. So, and it's only going to get worse, I believe. I heard rumors, I hate rumors because I'm still trying to check it out, that there's another virus that possibly could be mixed in with the coronavirus. But, let's wait and see what they say, because, it's getting to be a lot, and I am so not real set on it going to hit 200,000. Maybe in the total long run over the year or two, but I don't know, Miriam, what do you think? It's only, let's see, I got totals. We're sitting at 4,081 deaths, but 7,000 of the thousands that they have, 7,000 have recovered. So I got an antibiotics.
And don't forget, we're getting reports that a lot of the deaths are being attributed to the coronavirus when it's elderly people who are dying from heart disease and things like that. And they're changing. I mean, if the people reporting that are even telling the truth. I mean, it's so hard.
Mary Ellen, they're going on a model. I don't know. I bet a lot of you have heard that they're using the model. And let me kind of tell you what the model is. I'm going to take like Ebola, okay?
Hang on.
And when Ebola first started, they didn't have a model, so they had to wait. And once the numbers started coming in, then they start setting their facts and stats. And once they have the facts and stats, then they take that back to the beginning. And then they start getting the numbers. And that is why a lot of people in Trump had seen that it didn't look that bad by the first original numbers. But as it started peaking up, then they got more facts, and they started getting test results back. And once you calculate all that in, we're getting a model at its peak. So right now at its peak, they're saying that I think it's the numbers from New York that has really inflated it. But until we get over the next 15 days, we're not really going to know how much longer. And I believe if New York would just stay in, and what I'm hearing from my sources out of New York is that there are still the gang members that are running around. And when they're getting sick, they're going to the mall with everybody, and they're just not staying in, of course. So from what the model numbers now have showed us is, with the facts and figures, it could either go really bad or it could go back to where we were 2 weeks ago. And everybody would just realize, if I was to get the virus today, there's a good possibility it wouldn't show up and I would notice it till day 12, 15, 18 days. And so if you got it, you continuously shop, and that's their big fear, is people getting together in a crowd, one person catching it, not realizing it, and then going out and doing their daily lives. And that's what's really spreading it. So, so for the model, if we look at it today, your chances of really getting it is 0.066. If you live in New York, it's higher. It would be more like a 2.2, 2.20, I believe is what it was. And that would almost be dangerous. That's getting into the danger mode. That's a little bit too high. And we see what the reports coming out of the model today is if you live in a rural area, not in the city, inside the city, they're having high numbers. If you're rural or you live out in the suburbs or farther out in like what we call no man's land here, your chances are like 0.010 of catching it. And it's getting less. It's getting more and more less. So, we just need to, if we can get the city members and we can get them all quarantined, and this is a virus that is having recovery without medicine, 7,000. And so really they need to look at what it was that these people were able to recover and what the pattern of the recovery was. And once they get that, then we can start treating other people while we're waiting on the vaccine. So.
Sorry, folks, about going offline. I'm trying to communicate with the title, the closing company, title company. So
I have a question, Mary Ellen.
Yeah.
You had a lot of problems today. Now, when you leave to go to work your way this way, I'm willing to do a 2:00 show on my channel if anybody wants to come over and watch.
No, my at this point, I'm not figuring I can see my kids. So if I can't see them, then or I will run and see them Saturday night and just drop some things off at their house and come back and pack my car. And I'm thinking I'll leave at crack of dawn Sunday morning and be there Sunday night. So just fly through. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just not sure.
I'm willing. And they would have to make the choice. It won't be here because this is you guys, but I'm more than willing that if you have to miss some days and take a few extra days because of the virus and the roads they might have closed.
I assume once I get there that the hotel will have internet so I can do it. But I'm thinking if that way, if I come flying over on Sunday, flying, driving myself. If I come over on Sunday, then by Monday we can just take time to do whatever. Yeah, Johnson & Johnson and their vaccine. I'm concerned about that because supposedly they haven't done testing. So
Teva is really good. I'm expecting Teva to come up with something really good.
Who?
Teva.
What's Teva?
It's they make the drugs for autism, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's. It's a neurological. They do all kinds of stuff though. It's not just for neurological diseases. It's other diseases, but they have been the top company on making vaccines for a very long time. Very long time.
So.
It's just the cleanliness. The thing is living in the city and they just can't. I just think they're having a hard time sanitizing. It's like here, I questioned the playgrounds in the city, and it seems like the park district here has got all of it sanitized, and then they wrapped it with saran wrap. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess that's to protect it. But our schools aren't really doing it. and they have custodians, but I'm finding out, looking into it, that they're not really working on the playgrounds. They're just working in the inner schools. And I mean, that's the first thing kids are going to do when they get to school. So,
Well,
MERS and SARS,
are you planning for Arkansas schools to open back up again?
no, not our schools only go till the second week of May. And if he takes it to April 30th, what's the point?
Yeah.
And I thought maybe they would just extend it because they do that with snow days, put it on the end of the school year, but I can't fathom them doing it. During my show today, I heard honking and honking. It sounded like a really big truck. And I was thinking that it was our garbage truck. It's garbage day. But then I looked out the window and it was a fire truck that was honking. And come to find out, I've told you, Mary Ellen, I live behind the high school. They were actually running their parade for prom through the streets here. So I had honking horns for about 30 minutes today, and beauty queens or prom queens waving. So it was interesting. Yeah, see, our parks are closed too, but they're going through and sanitizing them and wrapping them. And then they have a closed sign.
Are they still planning on having their prom?
I don't think so.
But
I think this is, and I think the way that the parade looked, it was like the kids themselves with the parents decided to plan the parade almost to make up for it. And I'm going to have to look at the field, and who knows, they might have a prom, but I mean, they can't touch each other and they can't really visit. They can like dance from a distance, but
no ballroom dancing, just jitterbug or something.
But they looked like they were having so much fun. And it was about, I must say, close to about 100 cars that came through, and a fire truck, a couple police cars, and there's something else. I can't remember what the other one was, but they had the convertibles all down and the girls sitting on the back with their prom dresses. It was so neat. That was neat that they still got to do something for prom. My granddaughter was invited to go, and we were going to go get her prom dress, and then this happened. And she's kind of bummed.
Bummed, I'm sure. I would love to know I can't wait to find out how many families are trying to do some homeschooling now and will decide that they like it so much that they won't send their kids back to school. If they're smart, that's what they'll do.
I could probably check into that.
Because
see what the rate of it is, of the increase.
Oh shoot, I just killed my phone. Let me see if I've got their phone number. Call Homeschool Legal Defense Association. No, I don't have it in my phone. Oh, yes,
I could probably find it.
No, I got it. Oh, no, I just put it in, but I didn't put the number in. So I've got it in my name, but not the number. Homeschool Legal Defense. They're in Purcellville, Purcellville, Virginia. Purcellville, Purcellville, Virginia. Because most homeschoolers, when I was homeschooling, but that was 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it was $100 a year back then. And what they did for insurance for the year through Homeschool Legal Defense Association, they have a whole bunch of lawyers so that if you have any trouble with the state, they will go to bat for you. I got a homeschooling family from our team here doing that, and they to sign up because she was homeschooling and she was having so much trouble with the state, with her local school district, because her child has a mild case of autism, and they wanted him in the classroom, and they have done so many threats, and she didn't want to have him immunized, and so she's just trying to protect, what's left up here.
They'll put,
And so
Mary Ellen, they put them kids in with bad kids. They put them in the separate class. This is what they do here, and then I learned it was nationwide, is when these kids are autism and they can't function in the classroom, they have classes for bad kids that can't control themselves.
yeah.
And so they put them in a class with them. And this is what happened to my grandson. And they bullied him. And, because you're putting bullies in with kids with a little bit of autism or special needs or issues. And they're these thug little kids, and they are thugs, and will pick on them. And then, so what they do is they're forced to put them in a special ed class. And so you got normal kids in special ed with kids that actually need the special ed classes. And sometimes they run out of seats. So you have normal kids that's just having a few issues that will get those seats over kids with special ed, which throws them right back in the classes with the bullies. And the school system is so messed up. And, Trump said he was going to get rid of Common Core, and it's still in there. And that's something that Obama people put in. And it was the stupidest thing because the kids are so lost. It actually has put them back, according to the federal education system. Common Core has actually forced kids to be put back a year, almost 2 years in math now, because they don't understand it. Even the smartest kids are struggling.
Common Core, my goodness, 2 years ago, I was visiting a friend, and their 7th grade daughter had a homework assignment. And the dad looked at it and goes, I don't know what this is. And I looked at it and I said, that is the most preposterous way to go about doing and finding the solution to that problem. So I taught her how to find the answers. I sat there, but I mean, I was horrified. Here's this girl that supposedly is smart. It really made me wonder. And she's there counting 2 + 2 on her fingers. And I thought, what in the world?
Yeah, there was a big quake in Idaho yesterday with approximately 20 aftershocks that are good size.
And I hear
aftershocks normally run about a 2.2 to about a 4.0. They're getting 4s and 5s for aftershocks.
And some aftershocks are bigger than the first quake too. You just you don't know. Now there's a fault line, very old fault line that comes over from Cascadia. That's caused.
It's the I want to call it the Mid-American Plate.
Something like that.
That's not what it's called. And it runs from up towards Canada, and it runs all the way down the center of the states, which I think this one you're talking about. It goes all the way down into Texas, and then it goes all the way back up through the eastern states to New Jersey. And I think I want to call it the Mid-American Tectonic Plate.
And there are several volcanoes.
There was an earthquake in Pennsylvania.
No, she said we felt it in Pennsylvania.
There was a 3.0 that hit Pennsylvania today.
Oh, really? Oh, so okay. So maybe
I do earthquake reports on the very first part of my show, so I go over all of them, and that was odd because it was over there in Pennsylvania. And the other odd one they had was over in Montana the last couple days. Of course, Texas and Oklahoma get them. And I think those are fracking quakes, because we talked about fracking this morning too. And then, of course, the California coast with the San Andreas and some of the other ones, the plate that the Ring of Fire runs on. So
Yeah.
yeah, kids can't even write in cursive. They quit teaching them cursive. My
The
my
interesting,
grandkids cannot read my cursive writing. Neither one of them.
the interesting thing about this fault line is there are several volcanoes along this fault line, and they're getting active. So
90% of the earthquakes in the world are active right now, and that is scary. So, and I'm looking to a few of them. That there was one that it went in over in Indonesia that blew ash here about 3 days ago.
blue ash to the U.S.
No, it was in Indonesia.
Oh, you said here, so I was wondering here. Okay. Yeah, how can kids sign legal papers? Well, you know what's happening is like what I just had to go offline for. I just signed, there is a legal way to sign legal documents through email, which to me is like, you've got to be kidding me. So, you know, you don't even have to be in person to sign a lot of this legal stuff. There are certain things, you know, that court wise that have to be done in person, but there's a lot of stuff
Hmm.
that you
It
can
just
do.
adds to the Bible, Mary Ellen. Because there's earthquakes in diverse places, and there are right now. There, I mean, China had a big one. China had one that's I believe, a 5.6, and that's a good size one for China, and it was right in the middle. And the thing is I don't like it when earthquakes get real quiet,
No,
and
that's dangerous because
it goes from you will get a big one like the one in Utah, and there was one like a week or two ago that happened in Utah, and then for some reason everything's going quiet afterwards, and then you come back with earthquakes all over the world on the plates that run 5. Actually, Puerto Rico has calmed down. Remember how I kept saying it's real busy? Um, there was a lot of them. It was like 6 and 8 a day, and now there's 2. So
and we need volcanoes going off at least a little bit because that's important to help um, relieve pressure that's building.
Mhm.
So
And the fracking has a lot to do with this. I hope Trump really stops the fracking, because now they're starting to drill in the sides of volcanoes. And it's since they started doing that, and if it's close to a fault line, we're starting to get them on those fault lines. And I heard that he stopped, but if you haven't really seen how bad fracking looks, get on GPS and zoom to like Texas, and it looks, as you get closer, it looks like housing tracks. But once you zoom in close, you see them all. You see all the wells, and then once you start spreading it out, there's not just hundreds, there's thousands, and it looks like a little city, but it's all fracking wells, and that's way too much. I'm all for the climate, and I'm all for ecology, and when I say that's way too much, that's way too much to have little cities. It's crazy. But if you all get time, go look at what the fracking has done. And I believe that's why when the Bundys went, were fighting up against the feds. A lot of it was they just weren't gonna. Their neighbors had sold out, and then they were seeing what they were doing and what they were bringing in, and was going to run them off of their land. It's full of gas and oil, but we just need to quit. So
um, we're at the top of the hour, so I'm gonna say thanks to everybody for being here. I'm sorry about the snafu in the beginning. Our numbers are down today because of it, but um, I couldn't even remember how to write a note in there to tell you about what had happened. So I'm glad that things stayed live so we could come back once StreamYard fixed their technical difficulties. So sorry about that. We will, backup channel wouldn't have helped at all. What I need to do is learn how to do streaming with YouTube, which they didn't used to have available, but do now. I just don't know how to do it yet. And we just don't know from one day to the next what could happen. And we there are more and more and more reasons to make sure you're prepared for eternity. And like Chris is saying here, when you think of that meteorite that hit Nigeria, that hole looked like it was, what, 50 feet across and deep. I mean, it was gigantic. And the meteor was, look at the size of my face here. It was what hit the ground was a rock or metal about this big. And look at that deep hole. So, and we're going through the debris field now. So who knows how many more are going to be hitting the earth. So don't be surprised if they go into the water. They won't be discussed because unless it causes a tsunami. But who knows where they're going to land and if they're going to land and if we're going to be hit, the Earth's going to be hit. But if we're going through a debris field from a comet or whatever this is caused from, we could have some very unusual things happening, and we're seeing everything else that's so abnormal. So what exciting days to be living through. God bless you, and we will talk tomorrow as long as we don't get kicked off again. I have it set up, so maybe, I don't know. Anyhow, hopefully everything will be okay tomorrow. God bless you guys. Thanks for being here. Bye.